Okay, there we go. I think I'm live. Hello, bag of giving people. If someone would be so kind as to politely say hello in the chat, because every single time I do this, I'm sure that I'm talking to you, and half the time it turns out I'm not. So I'm going to assume until I hear otherwise that I can hear everybody out there in the interwebs. Hello. Oh, good, they can hear me. Perfect. Hello, Bag of Giving people. This is the disembodied voice of one of your hosts slash co-founders of Bag of Giving, Brandon Crilly, and welcome once again to our monthly stream of authors rolling dice and playing games and having fun and totally not causing chaos or contempt at all. It's going to be great. If this is your first time viewing us here on Twitch, we're a little scheme that was created by myself and fellow writer and gamer Michael R. Underwood to basically bring together authors and other creatives and our friends in the writing community to play tabletop one-shots every month here for your viewing pleasure, and that is what we are doing here tonight. The other thing that we do is try to spotlight charities and bring attention to worthy causes, organizations doing good work out there in the world. And to do that, we have a whole bunch of giveaway prizes too. If you go to our website, bagofgiving.com, you can look at the prize wall. There's all sorts of stuff generously donated that you can win for a tiny, fractional donation to one of our spotlight charities. So go scope that out. I'll talk a little bit more about that after the break because I want to dive right into this game of the Deep Forest. So this is the warning to my friends on the stream that you're going to be live very shortly. So yeah, I'm going to turn things over in just a few moments to Dave Ring and our players tonight for the Deep Forest. I hope you enjoy.
And I think we're in. I'm supposed to count to 5. Hopefully this counts as counting to 5. Thanks y'all for joining us. We're here playing The Deep Forest tonight, which is a reimagining of The Quiet Year by Avery Alder. And it's written by Avery Alder and Mark Diaz Truman. And with me, I have 3 fine writers, miscreants, friends, future and past. My name's Dave Ring. I'm an editor and writer. Right now, my big project or undertaking is Neon Hemlock Press, where we produce speculative fiction, queer writing, chapbooks, some unmentionable things as well. And I'm lucky enough to have 2 folks that I've gotten to publish before, and maybe someday 3. We'll see.
Let's try. Let's do it.
So I'm going to ask my comrades here to go around and introduce themselves. Maybe we can go Kat, Jordan, Avi, and then after that, we'll talk a little bit more about the game, set some ground rules, conversation, and get into it.
So, hey, I am Kat Weaver. Me and my wife, Emily Berkslin, wrote a novella for Neon Hemlock for their 2022 series. It's called Uncommon Charm. It is only marginally about birds, but it's about magicians in 1920s London. I obviously live with my wife in St. Paul, Minnesota, where we are expecting a huge snowstorm tomorrow through Thursday. So we are getting ready for that.
I'm Jordan Shiveley. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, pretty close to Kat. And I write weird, sometimes horror-y things on the internet and in print. And that's it. Here to have fun.
Hey friends, I'm Avi Silver. I am co-founder of the Shale Project, a multimedia storytelling initiative with my partner Sienna Tristan, as well as co-editor-in-chief of Augur Magazine. And right now I'm currently in the final moments of edits for my big trans slipstream meets space opera novella Pluralities that's coming out with Athos Arts this October. So very excited, very tired.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Very cool. What's the title of that?
Pluralities.
Pluralities. All right, y'all, get your pre-order fingers ready.
Yeah, love that. Thank you.
Cool. So the Deep Forest. This is a map making game, y'all, and hopefully you are getting a gander of our map, which we are doing. This game's really satisfying to do in person because you get to like color, but it also can be pretty great in this virtual space. We're using this like whiteboard tool called Miro, which is incredible at some things and then gets a little funny at others, and we'll see how that manifests for us this evening. Kat, to kick things off, do you mind reading the opening story for me?
Of course. Let me just zoom in here. The opening story. For a long time, our monstrous home was occupied by invading humans. Now, finally, we've driven them off and we're left with this, a year of relative peace. One quiet year with which to dismantle their settlements and reclaim our lands. Come winter, a band of heroes will arrive and we might not survive the encounter. This is when the game will end. But we don't know about that yet. What we know is that right now, in this moment, we monsters have an opportunity for healing and self-discovery in our deep forest away from human eyes.
Thank you. So this game requires 2 to 4 players. You have before you 4 players in 2 to 4 hours. We'll see if we have 2 to 4 hours. The space that we have here, so we have a blank page. We have these things that I'm calling dice. They are 6 green squares. These dice aren't rolled in the game. They're used to show how many weeks are remaining in the various projects that we might start. So we'll just be copy pasting them and moving them and possibly shrinking them because they seem a little large right now. And we'll be changing the number on them to show how many weeks are left in the project. Over on the left, we have these adorable skull icons, which are contempt tokens. They will represent any tension or frustration that might arise between our monsters. Over on the right, we have a summary card. It's going to remind us what to do each week for the Deep Forest and in what order. Normally, you play this game with a deck of cards. Cards are one of the hardest things to do in virtual spaces. So instead, we're using a couple different randomization tools, but either way, we're going to be moving as if through a deck of cards. Spring, summer, autumn, and finally winter. The game ends abruptly in winter when the King of Spades is drawn, which we're going to be abstracting by rolling a d12. And if the 12 comes up, that's the King of Spades. Maybe we'll give ourselves 1 gray straw so that we can honor the 13 cardness of the suit and go that route. So we have 2 roles to play in this game. First, we're speaking of the members of the community, for the members of the community, what their individual and collective fates might be. Then we have to dispassionately and writerly, hopefully, introduce dilemmas and provoke difficult situations. The game is about moving between these 2 roles. We don't speak as a particular person. We kind of dip in and out of consciousness. So there's an omniscient element here, but a shared omniscience between 4 people. So no single monster belongs to one player, even if one of us has created them or like come up with them. We're also going to be introducing issues for us to deal with in the wake of the occupation by these humans who've left us and trying to make those struggles feel real. Making struggles feel real is a good moment to talk about safety. All of us have sort of talked before the stream started about what we want to include or not include in the game. I think this is a good moment just to say that it's pretty normal during a live stream to feel like the show must go on or that you can't stop and interrupt things. But if things get weird and you need to do a vibe check, we will pause everything and hop off the stream and talk things out and before we dive back into things. So please pop that in the chat, or we can do like a timeout or like we can also X things if we want to be like, hey, can we rewind that and remove the like eye trauma or like whatever from the play. Cool. So any questions before we get started? All right. So setting the stage, we have a blank piece of paper in front of us, right? So to kick things off, we have a couple tasks ahead of us, and they are on this little card for my players on the side that says before playing. So the first one is sketching the occupation. Determine the nature of the occupation. One player draws a defining landmark. The other players demarcate the borders of the occupation. So it's just like, what's like the general situation? Because we're going to be playing to find out, so we don't need to come up with the whole thing. But what was the general vibe of the humans that left us in their wake? Does anyone have any big ideas to start with? Kat, you look like you do.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think the humans that left us were like pretty heavy magic users.
In like a, I don't know, like obscure occult way, like researchy way, future magic way? Like, what's the vibe?
I feel more like maybe like a ritual magic way, but also like really like high magic. Like they could do a lot of like bumped up magic stuff. Like they could transform things into other things. They could I don't know, maybe they could do some stuff like stopping time or just really wizard stuff.
Into it. Avi or
Harnessing
Jordan.
entities,
Oh, say it again.
like harnessing entities from beyond. Maybe
Oh,
some of us
Yeah.
are like things that they drag through to work as like organic computers and stuff, but now we're left behind.
Please. Yes, please. That's awesome. Avi, I think the thing to ask you, if you're open, is what was their general, like, were these good wizards?
Are you
I
asking
think
me-
these.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think these were wizards who thought they were tremendously helpful. Regardless of that, I think they thought they were really doing everyone a big favor.
Incredible. And since so many of these this game's themes are looking at like the long-term impacts of colonization too, that also adds something for us to chew on there.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of these monsters are basically like the landfill they left behind.
Oh,
And that's a really good emotional note for us to follow through on. I'm into it.
Mhm.
So this first thing that they want us to do though is to introduce a landmark that somehow symbolizes or like would be noteworthy for like that initial setup that we discussed.
um,
I'll go on.
I would love a giant hole in the ground.
I was gonna
That's
say
what I was
that whole like
thinking.
Yes!
Yes, I was like
Good.
hit.
Yes.
All right, so I need someone to be our sacrificial first person to draw something on this map, while everyone is watching and you're being live streamed and not judged, I'm sure. And we can go simple, like we could just, you can draw like an oval and fill it in, and we can start with that if you want.
Yeah.
How do I fill it in though?
I'm gonna let you figure out how to fill it in while I keep talking.
Fascinating.
Everyone like gets to scratch their like MS Paint knowledge from back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So in addition to, nope, that's
Oh, that's great.
Oh
Actually. I love
yeah,
that.
good. Thank you. I was clicking
Alright.
opacity and it wasn't doing nothing. So
that's incredible.
Hit,
Well,
hit.
yeah. Keeping the art skill comments at a positive is gonna be great. The next thing we need to do is come up with oh, am I going too fast? No, okay. So the next thing we do is come up with our initial monsters. Jordan, I might ask you to use the type tool for such things.
oh, boring.
We can leave it for the pit. I don't
No,
want
We're getting rid of my beautiful pit.
So we need everyone to introduce what our initial monsters might be. So we introduce what the monster is and what its home is, like its nest or its dwelling. And we're going to sketch our contribution onto the map. The sketches should be rough and simple, leaving lots of blank space for additions during play. We're going to introduce the monsters. We're going to introduce one monster this way, but we're going to understand that there are additional monsters in our community, perhaps a half dozen that are as yet unnamed. And so it could be like a single monster, or it could be like a little group or a little family. It's up to y'all.
And are we each going around and giving a monster, or are we choosing like one
Nope.
little
That's a
guy?
good question. Nope, we're gonna each. This is how we're sort of like initially populating our
Great.
area, right? Oh, and I do. If everyone can also just add like one like little feature, I'm gonna do like a.
I also
one
love
feature.
that hole is written behind the scribble, almost like a secret. Like
Yes.
squint your eyes and see it pop out, magic eye.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
So I brought out my tablet for this.
I should have.
I feel like Kat, as an actual artist, might be struggling with the tools involved in this project.
This is
Yeah,
very
you
exciting.
get- you
I
get
literally,
beautiful.
I love that. I was gonna say I literally have Tourette's, so I have the biggest excuse for when my art is funky. It's just I'm just getting the demons out. So like,
No, it's gonna be beautiful. It will be
Oh,
gorgeous.
yeah.
The more chaotic it is, the more like
yeah, you're right. I don't
emotion
mind
and
that.
feeling is in there.
Hey, like
We have to
big
have like
question.
the Jeopardy theme music while we're drawing.
I know, right? What's the big question, Avi?
Don't laugh. How do I draw?
So there's a little pen over on the side, and you select it, and then down below there's 3 different like widths of like a pen tip.
Yeah,
And
I
if
would
you click on those, you
immediately
can
up the
also-
thickness because
Yeah.
it starts out like really thin.
Which side is that on? I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's on the left for me. It's on the far left, and there's like a little floating bar there.
Loading guy. Okay. Beautiful. Let me see if I can figure this out. Oh, yeah, I had to hit down. Got it.
Sweet. Okay.
Thank
If for
you so
some
much
reason
for your patience.
anybody has any trouble with things, I feel like you can also say the word and someone else can step to your artistic rescue. Okay, so now that people are all adding a little thing here, I'm curious if anyone is in a position to mention their what type of monster and maybe what their name is. Kat, what you got?
All right. So my monster, they are called the vultures or the vulture because they are a hive mind of carrion birds that have been put together from bits of other birds. So they're like multiple birds, but they're also like multiple birds in themselves. So they're just like a bunch of little hive mind frankenbirds. And they're very cute.
Do they talk like the vultures on Jungle Book?
Oh, maybe. With the Beatles voices?
Yeah.
I love this for
I
them.
do a little blue accent, but I can try.
And I'm also looking forward to how you represent them on the map.
Oh, do I draw like their little home?
Yeah.
Okay,
and
well done.
something to represent them. It could just be like their head if it's hard to draw like a hive mind bird body.
No, I'm drawing little birds. Look, see?
God damn it.
Cute.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna ungroup those and then put this in. All right. So our first creatures are the vultures, a hive mind, and Kat's putting those up in the top left corner, and they're delightful. Who else has got their monster ready?
I've got a monster ready.
What you got, Avi?
My monster's name is Sweet Marigold. And Sweet Marigold is basically a grief devourer. And its job is to eat sorrow and release it, but it has forgotten how to release it. So it spends a lot of its time in its burrow trying to just work with that.
That's a lot to work with.
Yeah.
What's like the super pared down? Like, is there like what's their physicality like?
I think Marigold sometimes looks like a mouse and sometimes looks like static, sort of
Hmm.
depending when you find it.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm gonna place my little buddy.
Oh, nice.
I'm
Oh my god, it's so cute.
It's a little mouse. It's a sad mouse.
My monster's name is Lloyd, and he doesn't know what he was for, but he looks like just like a plinth of old yellowed bone, and parts of him look like it's been tooled, but parts of it look like it's been broken away in chunks, and then parts of him also looks like maybe it's starting to form limbs, but then when you look back at him, it's different. Like now there's an eye there, but it's all out of yellowed decaying bone, and he kind of talks in like the whisper of falling bone ash out of little holes and crevices that falls and makes like the sound of like gravel falling into an open grave mouth. But then it's like that's how he talks to you, but he also doesn't know why he was made. So he kind of mopes a lot.
Oh.
And maybe eats things. I don't know. Maybe.
We want to leave that door open.
Yeah.
Now
I have to draw him.
Yeah, you don't have to draw Lloyd. And Lloyd's bone plinth. Okay, and then mine will be
Lloyd likes being by the birds because they sit on him sometimes, and then like he feels like he's hanging out with somebody.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
Right. Vibin'.
I feel like so we have a hive mind and like two singular creatures. So I think I want to introduce a little group of some sort, which I think the three sisters, and I'm just gonna, in a little nod to baffling, 3 harpies, who I think probably have a challenging relationship with the vultures.
Dave, what's baffling?
What's baffling? It's a queer speculative fiction magazine. Why do you ask?
That sounds awesome. Can I find that like online or somewhere?
Yeah, there's actually a story from a really cool person named Jordan Shiveley in one of those issues. You might want to check it out. It was actually our most read story of 2022, I think. Did I tell you that one?
No, you didn't. But now you told it to me live, and I.
So the 3 Harpy sisters hang out.
Says a lot how fucked up people are. That was the story that was read the most.
No, sometimes people just want to be some inchoate, throbbing meat in the darkness.
Yeah. Sometimes they just like, was there a story out there about like where a creature peels my flesh off so I don't have to be seen as an entity? Is that like a thing that's out there? Oh, let me search.
A family can be.
Yeah.
I almost said it, Avi. I almost said it. So I think and I guess the other bit I want to say about my harpies is I don't think that they've shared their names. They're always just called the 3 sisters, and they don't speak. I think there's silent.
Do they make noises?
They could. You get the impression they could speak. They just do not deign to share their.
They just kind of do like that bone in the throat, like.
Yeah, the jury is out whether they're snobby or whatever else.
Now you have
well, regardless, the vultures must be very annoying to them.
I believe in that. So listen, so I now need to spend a second drawing harpies and pretending that no one's looking at me. While this is happening, we each need to declare an important remnant left behind by the humans, something which might have either been adopted as our own or declared taboo. Now, we're each going to come up with one. There's going to be 4. Afterward, we're going to decide which one we've adopted, and the other 3 are taboo. So knowing that, as people sort of think of it, if you can put that feature on the map. So instead of a creature, you're drawing some sort of like a landscape-ish kind of an element.
Like, can this be the thing that we've drawn kind of already?
Yeah, for sure. So the examples they give in the book are aqueducts or canals, a dark orb of farsight, a human memorial, domesticated animals, crops, and fields. So it's pretty broad, and it can be quite small, or it could be like a bigger thing.
Okay.
For the people
I can go.
watching, we're just drawing. That's why we're being quiet.
So my idea was, so we have these little vulture friends here by what I have attempted to approximate as just like a fence of magical wind chimes.
Ooh.
They're kind of fucked up looking wind chimes a little bit. Like they've got bones in them. They've got like dried viscera in them and stuff. Like they were clearly for like high magic purposes. But I don't know that we know what they did. All that we know is that they were very important.
I'm here for this. I'm just trying to draw a heartbeat.
I understand.
Mine is a large rust-colored metal building that people don't know, the monsters don't know what the real name was, but they call it the press. And it's taboo, and they're not sure why it's taboo, but when they look at it, they just get a feeling of like insubstantiality, like a feeling of like the end of stuff. And on the building, there are all these big holes, huge. It's almost like a brutalist building with large concrete spikes coming out of the rusty metal building. And then there's these holes where there's obviously some liquid has been coming out of the holes and staining the sides for like hundreds of years.
And Jordan, did evil like Richard Serra make these sculptures? Sure. Basically.
and there's you can tell that there's a bunch of like bolts and parts where this building probably looks like it could contract in and out. And it's called the press.
Oh, sick.
Mine is like a little, I don't know if I remember the word for this, but it's sort of like a gondola that extends across the whole. And on the side of it, it says, "Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming."
Ominous.
I could have just said this hole was made for you and just like, like if we want to retcon it to that, we could go there. Thank you, Gigito.
That's all right. Oh. It makes me think of like a funicular too. Okay, so I think mine will be, these have been kind of bigger, right? So maybe I'll go with something small, like a statue. I'm gonna dip into the icon here and see if it gives me a nice statue icon. Yeah, okay, I like this one. Well, made it very small. Okay. And I think it's a statue of one of the like sorcerers or wizards, but I feel like maybe like we don't actually know the importance of it necessarily. The humans didn't deign to share that with us for some reason. Kat, what is the orange box? The yellow box?
I think that's Lloyd.
That's Lloyd.
That's Lloyd.
Oh, that's good.
That's our buddy Lloyd.
What are those things with the human heads on turkey bodies?
Sorry, Lloyd, it wasn't personal. I was just running around looking at the things that I missed. Okay, and the wind chimes are on that thing that you drew before. Rad. Okay. I think little tags putting the names of things on is a good idea for. So this one will just be like the. Cool.
Oh my God.
I see.
Who else but Lloyd?
Point taken. Okay, so is there one that's obvious that jumped out to people that like this is definitely the one that we've incorporated into our lives, or do we want to talk it out?
I feel like we have absolutely incorporated welcome into our lives, right?
I love welcome.
Yes.
I'd be interested in seeing how they transport with it, or if they do at all. Like, what do you do with the gondola?
So one thing that jumps to mind, so this travels across the pit.
Yeah, travels from one side to the other, like something over Niagara Falls, for example.
What if for our town meetings, like that's where we have them, like only over the pit?
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, pit vibes only.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the welcome is our adoption, and the wind chimes, the statue, and the press are all our taboos, which I'm gonna write on this index card over on the side. So the wind chimes. Oh, I say that, and then for some reason the text won't write. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me.
You trying?
I wonder if it's because I like grouped the. Can anyone else write on this index card? Yeah, you can. I don't know why I can't. Okay. So if you can put, the wind chimes and the press and the statue under taboos, and then we'll put the welcome under adoptions. Jordan, right now you're the only one who I can think that can work it. So it's in your hands. Okay. So we've now updated the map. Okay, so now we're going to move into the actual like play of the game. Like that's the setup essentially. So the basic unit of play on the Deep Forest is the week. Each turn is a week with one player. Normally you go clockwise. I wrote over on the side a turn order just for us. So I put myself in case I need to go first to help other people get the swing of it. And then Dave, Kat, Jordan, Avi.
Love it.
So the things that happen on the turn are also, we have this little card to the side of the board, and this is our cheat sheet of what happens. So the active player draws a card and interprets it. We follow all the bold instructions. We reduce the project dice by 1. Finished projects are updated on the map, and then we have to take one of these actions. And these actions on the right are like pretty, can be quite dramatic, or they can involve like discussion or the kind of community meetings that I was just mentioning. So for this first inaugural turn, I'm going to go down to the list of cards, which is in the bottom left corner of the Miro, and I'm going to roll this die that I have, and it's a 10. So I'm going to go with the 10, and I'm going to delete this thing. And so now I have 2 choices. One of them is how varied are the diets within the community? Which monster has the most unsettling or untenable diet? Or what materials are needed to upkeep and maintain the layers within the community? Are any of those materials difficult to get or hard to find? And it's funny, when I play in person, I often don't have the person who draws the card show the 2 options to the other players, because the thing that you choose actually has sort of some, it sort of shows your, it's like another way of like molding the narrative. But in this case, I think I'm going to go with the first one. How varied are the diets within the community? Which monster has the most unsettling or untenable diet? And I think probably the most unsettling or untenable diet is the vultures. I don't know how much I think in addition to whatever carrion they might eat, which I'm assuming they might do just because they're called vultures, it's also the once you've brought other like birds into your hive mind, like whatever that process looks like. I don't know. I feel like there's maybe a sense of stiflement there where the vultures want to expand in some way and they are not able to do so such that meets their needs. So there's this constant tension.
So like maybe they're like switching around parts.
Yeah.
Between each other because they can't.
Oh, am I misunderstanding something about the nature of them?
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, so and I think there's probably, I don't know, just in terms of like the other bird-like creatures might have a thought about that, and so it could be unsettling there. And I don't know how Lloyd's diet, I hesitate to speak to it. I imagine it's probably also unsettling. But perhaps for someone who exists in such a fashion, the vultures are also sort of somewhat uncanny to them. So when you, if it makes sense, you can indicate something on the map. We just saw our first introduction of our first contempt token, which is incredible. And also, I see you, and I would do it again. So
I forget, Dave, what happens do the contempt tokens add up to something?
They don't.
It's just purely to throw shade.
It's
excellent.
The way the game is meant to be that we're not like giving our personal feedback on other people's actions, and the way that it instead manifests a pathway for that is dropping contempt.
Instead, we physically throw tokens at each other. Okay. Yes. Much
When
healthier.
When I play in person, I like to use star anise.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Just they're very spiky, and they sort of like make an impact when you put it on. And yes, you add the contempt to like whatever monsters might feel offended by that. And if there's thematic reasons why you might remove it, you can remove it, but usually they just like accumulate there.
I mean, I have a jar of human teeth we could just like drop on.
Teeth.
I think these skulls might symbolize your jar of human teeth.
Sorry.
We love teeth.
Y'all are not sorry, and that's why you're invited. All right, so that's the
once
initial.
The chant starts, I have to join it.
It's true. So once that happens, then there's 3 actions you can choose, right? So one of them is uncover something old, introduce and draw something from before or amidst the occupation. Agree on something, you state your opinion, and then everyone gets to agree or narrate silence, or you start a project. And that's what those dice are for again. So you start a project that the community is starting as a group, decide its duration. And I think just for the first turn, because there's plenty of stuff already on the map, and I don't know that there's necessarily a conversation that, well, no, maybe that's the way to go, is to start with our first meeting and welcome. So let's do agree on something as our first action, and also let's just talk it out because it's the one that has maybe the most fiddly rule to start with. So you're meant to open with a statement about a problem or issue in the community. Going clockwise, everyone else then gets to weigh in, sharing their agreement with your statement or describing what their silence looks like. Remember to indicate which monster is speaking or not speaking. And I feel like fictionally in this, it's like there's enough room in welcome for 4 monsters to show up. So maybe whichever monster we're choosing to speak for us is lending something. Although poor Lloyd, how does Lloyd represent?
Don't worry about Lloyd. He can make it there.
Okay, cool. All right. So
You see Lloyd like just like sliding towards it, and you think you see thousands of little cilia underneath him, but with like a barely an inch of the ground, just like so it's almost like he's floating. But then like there's almost like a stutter stop motion animation look to it that is unnatural.
I'm into it. Yeah, so and man, I just wrote myself into a corner with my silent sisters.
Well, how about you can say like the noise, but then we all like hear what they're saying.
That's pretty good. But I think maybe just to help set us on this right note too, because we're not those, even though we introduced those monsters, we speak for them all, right? So I think I'm gonna actually start by this meeting that has been called is from Sweet Marigold. And Avi, how does Sweet Marigold communicate typically?
Sweet Marigold straight up speaks, but
Just
with
like talking animal.
Straight up talking animal. But I would say the tone of its voice changes radically sentence by sentence. It's very erratic.
I'm picturing like you change the radio and it's a different person, but it's
I love that.
It's still continuing the same sentence.
Yes.
So
act that out, Dave.
Pardon?
So act that out.
Oh gosh. Voices are like, asking somebody to do voices in streaming is cruel. I'm gonna do it to y'all, so maybe I'll say something. Okay, so we're meant to open with a statement about a problem or issue in the community. And Sweet Marigold is a grief devourer that hasn't figured out how to process their grief, so they're just holding all of it. And actually, let me know if this is too dark. I think the thing that Sweet Marigold says is that we are abominations. We don't belong here. We should throw ourselves into the pit. So now we're going to go in turn order, and you can pick someone who's at this convocation and have them speak or be silent as they would be. And when the fourth person has finished, we just move on to the next turn. It doesn't get resolved or anything like that. It says here on the rules, everyone weighs in and then it's over. This is how conversations work in communities. There is much left unsaid to preserve the peace.
Well, the three sisters are silent. Just like imagine the personification of an ellipsis, just like 3 dots, dot, dot, dot.
That's perfect.
Lloyd is like leaned against the side of the gondola, and suddenly explosively out of some crooks and crannies, like gravel shoots out and then kind of like spatters the other wall across from him. And in the back of your minds, you hear, "That's so exciting. Let's see what's at the bottom. Yes, we should all, I am so for this."
I love this because I was thinking about Lloyd and I was like, oh, Lloyd's into it. Lloyd's psyched for this.
What is a lump of rock to do but plummet?
Oh, baby.
Perhaps this is what I was carved for.
To jump in a hole. I think the vultures seem to consider there's a certain energy thrumming kind of within the hive mind. And it seems as though they're going to say something, and then they don't.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, that's literally my turn. So we do the first thing, we do the second thing, we do the next turn. So that's week 1. There's and now week 2 starts with Kat.
All right, let me roll this D12. Okay, I got 8. So somebody for me unveil this. Okay. How is status earned and defended in this community? Is there a clear hierarchy among the monsters here, or beyond spoken words, how do monsters here communicate?
Both very relevant.
Well, I mean, I think we're gonna go with the first one here. How is status earned and defended? And is there a clear hierarchy? I don't think status is necessarily either earned or defended, simply because of the circumstances that we're in. I just think everybody has like their sort of high school cafeteria place.
Yes.
But also, I think the three sisters are the ultimate authority. They say nothing, and yet you want them to speak so badly.
I'm into it. So then you have to pick one of these three actions.
Yeah, I'm going to pick an action, and what I'm going to pick is start a project, state a project the community is starting, and I think especially Lloyd is so into going down into this pit. So that's going to be our project.
Oh, cool. Let me read the rule just for the stream, and then we'll go from there. So you choose a situation on the map, and you tell us how some of the monsters address it. It doesn't matter if the entire community supports the project or not. Work begins. Projects might focus on decolonization efforts, the restoration of old customs or edifices, or new endeavors that will move the community forward. As a group, quickly decide how many weeks the project would reasonably take to complete, minimum 1, maximum 6. Remember that you are a community in recovery. Many of your powers have lain dormant and your traditions acquired stigma. Is your community prepared to tackle this project? Must healing and practice transpire first? Be generous with your assumptions, but do remember that your community needs to build capacity slowly. Place a die on the map wherever the project is taking place, with the die face matching the number of weeks it will take to complete.
I don't know, guys. How long do you think it'll take Lloyd to traverse the pit and see what's in there?
It feels kind of like a big deal, so I'm leaning towards a big number, but I'm open to which one.
Yeah, I feel like it's a deep hole. It says hole in it. Like,
Damn,
Yeah.
it does say hole.
like when a hole is labeled. Like, what do we think PIT stands for? Pretty interesting time, like 6 weeks.
A little bit. Pretty interesting time. Yes.
Who said acronyms are okay? Contempt of. All right, so you've started this project. We'll put a little note next to it, just so that we know in case we forget what it stands for. And then you now choose an action.
Who chooses an action? I thought we already chose one.
Oh, I'm a dummy. You're right. That was the action. So you told us about the thing, and then you did your action. Roger that. Jordan. So now you get to randomize a turn, a card, or just pick one and start your turn.
I will roll my dice. I got 3. So let's delete this box. Then, so my 2 options are: someone discovers a trove of ritual items hidden from the humans. Oh, we're doing this. What are they? Add them to the map. An old language resurfaces among you, a tongue you have not heard for ages. Why was it silenced? Oh, dang. Why has it returned?
I love that we got the podcast voice for this.
I think it's I've got to do the old language resurfaces as much as I want a treasure trove of ritual items. I think an old language. And I think the way it has resurfaced is you notice one day that sitting outside of the press are 2 seemingly human looking children. But when you get close to them, you see that their eyes are hollowed out and they're whispering to each other in something that only fills your head with static when you try to pay attention to it. But as you can see them whispering, you can almost see the air between them undulating as if something is traveling back and forth between the two children and impacting their skin, like going in back and forth inside of each other. But you can't see what it is, even though you think if you could just focus enough, you could see it, but your eyes always go away from it. And so that's the language that has surfaced.
And do the two people speaking it have like names really communicating with us?
Nope. They're just two very almost blank looking children that are like, one day you notice they're sitting on two rocks in front of the press. Their backs are to the press as if they've come out of it, but you have no evidence to that. So that is the thing. And then I have to go in.
Yeah, we also reduce our project, so 6 becomes 5.
And then I have to make an action, correct?
Yep.
I think a door is found in the base of the statue.
Oh, cool.
And that's it. I'm not want to say what it is or let other people come up with that, but there's a door in the base of the statue.
Okay, you do have to draw the door.
Oh, okay.
I'll draw the door.
Someone has to. I need a door.
Kat, you can draw the door.
Okay.
You want to draw the two children too?
Yeah, someone has to draw the two children as well.
Let me see. Let's see what the find an icon gives me for this.
I don't know what cursed children you find in the icon drawer. Okay, so as you do,
God.
I'm gonna take my turn as you figure that out. We got 2. Doesn't come up. What cultural practice or ritual unifies your community? Or there's not. Oh my gosh, Avi, sorry.
Do you want to jump in? No, I'm vibing.
No.
I'm glad to. Okay, I will do the roll. Hello. I'm just one of the 3 sisters right now. That's 8, so I'm gonna roll one more time to see what I get. That's 3. Wow, my dice love what's going on. I got 4. Yes, I'm gonna play that bad boy. So a powerful tool of the humans is found nearby the settlement. How is it destroyed and what does it cost you? Or a powerful tool of the humans is found nearby the settlement. How is it co-opted? What pleasures does it offer? I think by the waterfall, there's a small building that is discovered, which is a sauna. And it's sort of been abandoned and a little bit busted, but if the monsters kind of explore, they realize that they can get it in working order. And I think it's a place that they go into to tell secrets.
Very cool. At the base or the top of the waterfall?
I think it's at the base of the waterfall. Oh, and I think the pleasure that it offers is simply the pleasure of being able to tell secrets.
That's satisfying with the sound of a waterfall hitting the bottom. I feel like that's good. Rife for secret telling.
Yes. Be like, what's a powerful tool? I want to be in a sauna right now. Speaking as a human. Just gonna get that set up.
Door.
Oh, I'm looking at apps. I goofed. There we go. Get that set up.
One of the things I do find fun about Miro is getting to see everyone's little cursor going around.
Trying things out.
Yeah, it's like, what are you looking at? And then you sort of pulls your eye across the map.
Who's on the Twitch stream? It's just zoomed in on Spring, so they're not seeing us drawing and stuff right now.
Brandon just got called out.
Well, it'll be a beautiful reveal.
It is a big deal.
I just didn't know whose it was attached to, so I didn't know if it was
Yeah, you're
where
okay.
my cursor was or.
I think for actions, I want to try something maybe a little unconventional. So tell me if that's acceptable. But I think the three sisters fly over to the sauna and sit on top of it and look at everyone for agreement, though what they're asking for agreement on may not be clear. Is that an acceptable use of the rule?
Yeah, I think so, because it's provocative.
Well, if I'm anything.
Okay, so turn order after you is me, which I've been suitably chastised about. So I think that I'm just imagining Lloyd making his way over on his unspeakably heinous tiny legs that we shouldn't look at, and waiting, and maybe like flinging an incisor or whatever he would do, and so moving out of the space of curiosity.
I think the vultures, I think they also collect around Lloyd and like perch on Lloyd, and among themselves, all with one voice, all at the same time, but the voices, similarly to Sweet Marigold, are all different, just less of a radio frequency and more of a different voices. They're just kind of like, nah, man, I don't like this. They're gonna gossip about us. They're gonna talk shit.
So is this like as Lloyd goes down the side of the pit, you've come down and perched on him? So Lloyd like stops for a second, and like you see he starts kind of shaking, and a bunch of like human and horse teeth are falling out of him, kind of like a cartoon would have perspiration coming out of him, but he has like just like he's shedding all these different like teeth. And then the vultures here are like, it's gonna be fucking sweet down here, man. Like, there's gonna be something cool. I bet. Like, it's a hole. Like, why do you have a hole if not to go to the bottom of it?
But they're gonna talk shit about us.
So
yeah, we're the cool ones, and they don't know that. Like,
quick point of order.
Lloyd in my mind was like really occult and weird, but now they're like we're like the two stoner kids we're going down as well.
Lloyd is turning into a dude for sure. So point of order though. So Lloyd had already spoken. This is now we'll just throw or had spoken with his silence. So I feel like this has to be canon because that's important to be canon. But you actually get to speak for Sweet Marigold, and you're wrapping up the conversation.
Who?
You.
Oh, in the conversation, like, is the mouse down there too? Then, like, are we all on the side of the pit, just like having this conversation?
No, has to register an opinion about the sauna.
Oh, the sauna. Okay.
It's a sentence that's never been said.
Yeah. So little Marigold comes out of the sauna with like a weirdly perfectly made small towel for a mouse over its shoulders, and goes, yes, whatever you think is going on, I'm down.
End scene. Perfect. No notes.
Oh.
Abby, that was your fault.
Look, what am I but a simple sauna mouse here to make
How small is the towel too if it's around its shoulders? It's like this tiny little towel.
Oh, it's like a little perfect. Someone was looking for a napkin, weren't they?
Oh, it's so small.
Okay, and now it's my turn for real, right? That's
Yes.
okay.
Take it away.
All right, my bad.
you're
So I had rolled a 2. What cultural practice or ritual unifies your community? Or there's a monster who did not join with you in driving off the humans. Where are they in the map? What makes them different? And there's no way I'm not picking that one. So, okay. And I think they definitely have to be behind these tentacle eyeballs.
Oh yeah.
What lives around? Okay, it's a what can I get from an icon here? Yeah, sure. So, okay, it's this guy who, and I said guy, but I feel like they're like a genderless. They're called they're called the Morning, and they're like a little, you know the way like remoras like eat the stuff around sharks. They eat the like pus that seeps out of these eyeball tentacles. And they do not feel welcome amidst the other creatures of the village. And I think they're probably suspected to be sympathetic to, or like maybe they were working more in concert with the humans, so they're seen as like suspect and like not able to join. And they sort of look like a big like a ray of some sort, but they like fly around.
Is this morning like, oh no, someone has died, or morning like the AM?
Oh, sorry, like the beginning of the day.
Love that.
And do people
That someone you like has died.
Has there been actual people telling them they didn't like them, or is this something they just think because of all like the dried pus on their face?
I think that, good question. I think the 3 sisters have certainly made their displeasure. I think the 3 sisters drove them off.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does the pus accrete around their mouth, kind of like drying candle wax?
That's disgusting. And yes, but the pus is around these eyeball tentacles that you drew, and they eat that. So it's just pretty unmentionable and disgusting. And I'm not going to go further into it, but yes.
Well, okay, but I feel like the humans had to have like had a use for them though, right? So like what if like something that they excreted from that was valuable in some way?
Oh, I'm very open to playing to find out what that was for sure.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And definitely we should say the word excrete a couple more times.
Yeah. Very hot.
It's like deeply unpleasant. We should say it again.
Yeah.
Okay, and so project dice are reduced by 1. Does anyone do that? No. So bump that one to 4.
Lloyd's Voyage. Sorry.
I'm just picturing the Titanic theme song. Okay, so uncover something old, agree on something, start a project. We've now done all 3, right? Cool. So I don't feel like I have to do one for teaching's sake then. I think okay, I think I want to agree on something, and it's the it started again by the 3 sisters, and it is once again by the sauna, and they are once again saying nothing, but this time the nothing is clear, and they believe that everyone should eat the morning.
Okay. Sweet Marigold, in its little voice, says, I do not think that the morning would taste good.
Lloyd's down in the pit, so instead, you didn't even notice them come up, but the two children are standing there, and you don't understand what they're saying yet, but the motion in the air between them is starting to get even more and more agitated, and then their mouths start to gape unnaturally wide, and you hear the bones in their jaws cracking and breaking as they're reforming into much larger mouths, and they just kind of stare up at the three sisters with these now larger mouths.
I think, one second, the vultures don't love this. I think the vultures, it's either agreement or silence. So right, is that the way that I'm supposed to do it, or can I say fuck it?
No. It's silence,
vultures
or
could-
say whatever you want. Yeah.
Silence or say it, or say whatever. Yeah, I think in one voice they go, "Don't be an asshole," and that's
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and so goes our convocation. Kat, your go.
All right, let's roll that d12. Have we done 11 yet?
No.
Would that be the Joker? No.
What's the Jack? Yeah.
Or Jack, pardon me.
The Jacker. Sorry.
It is unusual that monsters form communities, agree on something about why this community exists, or monsters have always lived in communities, agree on something about the nature of monster communities. I think it's very unusual that monsters form communities. So we have to do an agree on something move about why this community exists. So I think the morning say or communicate in whatever means that they do. I think they might be psychic. I think they might just psychically beam this out to everybody's thinking apparatuses. I think they say, we existed to serve the humans.
Bold. So Jordan, you're the first person after Kat for this one.
I think the vultures look over at Lloyd, or the direction where the psychic emanation came from, and between them all, they're like, you hear like different voices, but they're all kind of forming the same different parts of the word, so it's one sentence, and it's like, we exist because we have to. We were not asked. We just keep existing because we're here. What more is there?
Sweet Marigold lets out such a sound of despair and burrows deeper into its den.
And the two sisters make horrifying sounds that we are unable to parse. So, Kat, does that mean you get another action?
I don't know, does it?
I think maybe you do, because that basically made your card move into an agree on something. So I think you get another action.
Okay. So I think we are going to start a project, and I think the project is these busybody vultures are going to try to find some grief for Sweet Marigold to devour. They don't know what grief is, by the way. They think it is some kind of berry or shrub.
Oh, Janet. Like.
There.
Oh.
So where are they off searching for it then?
I think they might have a hunch that it could be through the door in the statue.
Oh, that's fun.
The other half are like, we heard the word excreting. Maybe it's excreted somewhere.
I would be open to this number being literally anything.
Yeah.
Let's say 3.
Okay. So they're gonna find something. We'll see if it's grief.
Like statistically, very possible. Like
Yeah, chances are not 0.
yeah. Discover grief, smiley face.
I'm so mad at that smiley face. Excellent. And that's a cool project. Jordan, what you got for us?
We roll. I rolled a 6. Let's go down there. I will never remember the controls, so I will always go up instead of down.
Love it.
Yes. I'm trying to get my. All right. So number 6. Let's delete this. You see a good omen. What is it? You see a bad omen. What is it?
Too much power.
I think, because I am nothing but not a contrarian, they see a good omen. But for a monster, what is a good omen? I think above the pit in the sky for a moment opens a gaping wound that looks like the sky is made of meat, but behind the sky is the meat, and it is pulsing, and out of it slips 2 or 3 large purple massive organs that fall to the ground down into the pit. And then after about 30 minutes of these organs slipping out of the sky seals back up. And this is obviously a very good omen.
That's rad. I look forward to however you're gonna draw that.
It's above the black hole, so it just, it's just kind of there. I'll draw it in a second. But for my action,
we reduced the projects down to 2 now.
cover something old or that is happening in the midst of it. I think that inside of the sauna, towards the back of the wall that they all just thought was the back of the sauna, one day when the little mouse comes in, instead there's a huge hive on the back wall. Just hexagonal hive. Nothing else is seen right now, but the whole back wall is a hive.
Love it.
That's my organs just flying around. Organ Omen. That's the name of my side project band, Organ Omen.
This Organ Omen. We're so
Also my
glad to be
stage
here.
name.
Oh yeah. All right.
Dave, now we have to put out all body horror. I know this is like Void Junk, but it has to be only about organs. It's called Organ Omen.
Yeah. just hot, undulating.
All
organs.
just vor about organs.
Vorgans, you could even say. I love it.
Oh, sounds like we have a guest editor. Apologies to the censors who we did not give the right information about our content warnings today, y'all.
I think that's me, yeah?
Yeah, and I think, Jordan, can you draw something on the sauna so that we don't forget
totally.
the hive situation?
We'll do that right now.
Oh, yeah. All right. That Keep getting ones we've already got. Okay, we got 7. There's a large body of water on the map. What does it look like? Or there's a place on the map that's been desecrated. Where is it? How might it be restored? Ooh. It's like my ability to scroll has just disappeared a little bit. Okay.
You believe in yourself.
You know, that's how it goes. It's a place that has been, I love me a bit of a desecration. I think there is a place that the monsters used to gather before the occupation that was known as the Triangle. And the Triangle is up over here. Is that thick enough? Can we all see that bad boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the Triangle was a place where 3 small fires were lit. I'm loving my my little fire icons right now. And I think in this place, it was important that, you know, one fire would only be lit at a time. And it is hard to remember why, because it's been a very long time. But now all of the fires are going and they can't seem to stop. And they know the humans did this, but they're not quite sure how. So I think that's the deal. I'm trying to remember if there was something else that I need to have there. How might it be restored? I think how might it be restored is looking for something more powerful than water that could make them go out, because water isn't working. So I think that's that turn. I will go back to making fire in a moment. And I think for the actions, we're going to agree on something. And I think Lloyd from lower in the pit sort of spits up like a geyser, like a bunch of like shark teeth and excitement. And they just sort of come up and are making this fantastic clacking sound. And as they come up, Lloyd says, I love the voice that's coming from here. And basically agrees that the voice that's down in the hole is really cool.
The 3 sisters swoop overhead, nosy but silent.
The vultures, the ones who are not attempting to discover grief. I mean, you know, they are, but they're like the bodies of them that are not attempting to discover grief. Similarly, fly over the hole, like just right after the 3 sisters, like just timed perfectly. And they all say, "Doing great, buddy! Looking good!"
The morning kind of like reticently like circles around the outside of the pit, but like kind of like is licking the sides of the pit as it goes and goes, not enough pus, and then goes back to his tentacles.
Unsatisfactory. Love it. That's that. Okay, so this is my turn as the last turn of spring. And then after that, it's probably going to be a good moment for us to do our little break before the last 2 seasons. So
That's 3 though, right?
we've rolled all these so far. And that's a 1. Okay. The occupation left you all forever altered. Agree on something about the humans, about how the humans changed you, or one of you begins to manifest new monstrous qualities. What are they? It's definitely the second one.
Like it's obvious which one's gonna go.
I think that well, we have 5, right? 3, 1, 2. So Sweet Marigolds has learned how to eat joy.
Oh.
Which is having a precipitous effect on many interactions that they were previously going through.
I have a question about that. When they eat the joy, does it take it away from the person, or is it like the joy is like an excess that came out of the person after they experience it, or when they eat it, does that person then lose the joy?
I'm curious about that too.
Okay.
What do you think, Avi?
I think I'm inclined to say that it takes the joy, but it cannot release the joy in the same way it cannot release the grief. So the static is increasing for it. It is gathering more and more.
And is the static indicative of the emotions that it's like? Is it now a confusing morass of grief and joy, or?
I think so. I think the static feels very different in like color and texture to be around. I think Marigold is very interesting because if it's your joy or your grief that's being fed upon, you feel some of the relief. But if you're not the target of the feeding, you can sort of be sensitive to what's going on. So for example, if the vulture's joy is being eaten, the vultures might be kind of drained. But if the sisters are nearby, they might be like, oh, Marigold, look at that. Those are some nice colors, which could be a little bit stressful in community.
I'm into it. At the end of during my turn, both of these clocks go from 1 to 0. So both of these projects are completed. And the person who started them is the one who's meant to tell us how they go. And I think in both cases it's Kat, right?
Yeah.
I think it is.
So first, Kat, Lloyd's Voyage. What's the outcome?
So the thing about the pit is there is a point at which Lloyd realizes that the pit has sort of reversed shape and is coming out the other way. So the pit makes a U. So Lloyd has discovered that there is something on the other side that has a voice. I don't know how much I can narrate about it, though. I think
if you wanted to give us like one characteristic of the thing with a voice, and then we can call it a day. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The thing with the voice is distinctly human, but the owner of the voice is not.
Into it. And can you can think of something to put on the map so that we know that?
Yeah. I'll do that.
Yep. That's
So
your
does the
job.
hole come out somewhere, or does the pit dead end in a U underground?
Good question.
Okay. Nice.
That's rad, and that's a problem for it's not even future you, like present you is going to have to draw that. But also the grief journey that the vultures made into the door. What is the outcome of their search?
Yeah, so the vultures, they find inside the door, I imagine not too far, since it wasn't a very long project. I think they had to go through like some various mazes. There were interesting smells. There were no other birds, but what they did find was like a whole bunch of like little shiny objects that they think could be grief. Just like little tiny stones, little tiny gems, little tiny like earrings, perhaps. Just little cool fun objects that they're just like, this looks like somebody would want to eat it.
And what's the particular thing that they bring out as like proof of their find?
They bring out a couple of little like just like little rounded stones, like stones that have been washed in the tide, but they're jewels and they're like kind of opaline, but they've also got like it's like insects and ancient insects and amber, but it's not amber. It is stone.
And sorry, last follow-up question. Do they bring it to Sweet Marigold or are they holding on to it?
No, they absolutely bring it to Sweet Marigold. They're like, hey, look we found. Isn't this interesting? Doesn't it look like it tastes good? Is this grief? I hope it's grief. I think this is grief.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to take this action. This is the longest turn ever, and then we're going to take our break. So uncover something old, agree on something, start a project.
I like to think that the vultures are like that, doing that awkward thing where someone hands you something they just cooked and waits to watch you take the first bite.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They're just like expectantly waiting for them to eat this stone.
Absolutely. And uncover something old. So I think the thing that follows the vultures out of the door is a mechanical, like a little mechanical spider, but there's like lots of them, like let's say 8, and they're like Roombas that are spiders. And they are running around looking for other shiny things that they can bring back and put inside of the statue.
Yes.
And I regret saying this because now I have to draw this. But this is also a really good moment for us to take our break. So it's 8:53. We thinking 5 or 10, or what do y'all need? 7?
7's so good.
All right, so we're gonna come back on the hour, okay? So it's 8:53 for some of us, and we'll come back on the hour.
Thank you so much.
and there's that. And I'm going to randomly count down to 5, even though I'm not actually counting, and presumably by now people can hear me. Welcome back to our lovely monster-filled game of The Deep Forest here on Bag of Giving. We're going to get into the second half of this game very, very shortly, but I very quickly wanted to say out to you lovely people out on the interwebs, just a reminder that Bag of Giving, here we are about 2 things. We are about bringing cool, creative people together to tell stories and have fun, but we're also about trying to do some good, put some good out into the world. So if you go on our website, www.bagofgiving.com, we have a whole whack of awesome prizes, books, games, and story critiques by fabulous authors, all sorts of stuff that you can win just by donating to one of our spotlight charities. We've got a whole list of charities, local charities from across Canada and the United States and elsewhere who are doing awesome work in a variety of areas. Go scope that out. Donate as little as $5 of whatever your local currency is, and that'll get you an entry into our prize wall. You might win cool stuff. So if you can do that, that's sweet. If you can spread the word, signal boost us a little bit wherever you do that sort of thing, that would also be greatly appreciated, so we can do some good for these organizations. And that's again bagofgiving.com. Without further ado, I'm going to turn things back over to our players for the second half of The Deep Forest. Enjoy.
That was a great message from our sponsors. We bring you back to the Deep Forest at the beginning of summer. And Kat, you ready to kick us off?
Yeah, let me just roll this d12.
Are you rolling a physical die or a digital die?
No, I'm rolling a Google dice.
Okay.
All right, so 9 is what I've got.
All right.
I am not on. Sorry, there's a purple dot there. We'll just live with it. Oop. Okay, trusting in human technology gets somebody injured or embarrassed. How? Remove an adoption.
Oh, dang.
Or an elder admonishes some of the other monsters about unseemly behavior. What does the elder say? Add a new taboo. Interesting. Okay, so for the new taboo, is it just like a new thing on the board then?
Yeah, and also I think it kind of reminds us that perhaps our monsters should have been more afraid of the statue and not willy-nilly running off into it. But they found some problems inside too, so I think we're still on brand. It could be something that like has been here that now is taboo, or it could be a new thing that we haven't previously drawn yet.
Okay, well, I think the 3 sisters, as have mentioned, the top of the food chain in our high school monster cafeteria, they in the complex web of interpersonal relationships between monsters, they are annoyed at the vultures for going through the door that was in the statue because it was taboo. So the 3 sisters react by declaring Lloyd's voice, the voice in the pit, also taboo. They don't say anything about this. They just perch very angrily on welcome, welcome as it goes back and forth over the pit.
So the voice is taboo.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. And then, so for actions, I think we are going to uncover something old, because I haven't done that one before. So I think by the statue, we are going to uncover, like attached to the wind chimes and the statue is just this gossamer net that one day, when the stars are aligned and the sun hits it just right, this gossamer net appears.
Oh, that's a satisfying function. All those little dots. Hell yeah.
Can you keep making the boop 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 sound, Cat?
Yeah.
For each dot.
Boop, 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 boop. This is ASMR. Boop, boop.
I literally have tingles in my neck. Like, yeah, boo boo.
Very small, the deep forest. Boop, boop, boop.
Stop!
It's a good net.
It's a great net.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's your action. So we go right into the next turn with Jordan.
The dice. I got a 7. Come on in. So my options are: a monster speaks up about grievances from before the occupation. Agree on something about the old conflicts of this community. One of the monsters threatens or alarms another. What provoked them in the most immediate sense? I'm going with the second one because it ties in well to what just happened. So the monster that alarms another monster is Lloyd, and he is alarming the 3 sisters because after he came out of the hole, he immediately started building something on the edge of the pit. And after a couple of days with the sisters up, the 3 sisters that are just like shaking their heads and stuff, it's obvious he's building a little tiny like podium platform, and then he stands up on it and gravel starts pouring out of all his little holes, and he starts preaching the good word of the voice. He's like, the voice has the answer for us. The voice would never be wanting to lure you down into the hole to eat you. The voice would never be wanting, the voice did not send me up here to count all your teeth and then answer back to him how many are up here. That is a big lie that you people said about the voice. The voice would never do something like that. All of our monster meat and our monster blood is totally safe in the hands of the voice. Come join the congregation of the voice.
I love the juxtaposition between the voice and the voiceless sisters.
That's what there's jealous.
Yeah,
And then at the very end, he's like, hey, jelly.
perfect.
All right, I gotta draw this now.
Yeah.
Oh, I should do my last final thing before I start drawing.
Oh yeah.
So I think I think let's agree on something. Let's state an opinion. My opinion is that the 3 sisters are becoming almost unwanted pariahs of the monster community. They're pushy and they're trying to assert their dominance, and they remind a lot of us of humans.
Who's sharing that opinion?
Oh, that's right. It has to be a character is sharing it. The morning is sharing it. So the morning is like kind of like swimming around watching Lloyd build his little thing, and he's like looks up and down and he's like, yeah, the sisters, they don't like this. I bet know who else wouldn't like this? Humans. But the humans wouldn't like what you're doing, Lloyd. But I like what you're doing, Lloyd. Fuck yeah, Lloyd. Keep doing it. Keep preaching, Lloyd. And then he kind of like swims around and kind of like whispers similar things to all the other monsters about how the 3 sisters probably want to control them the way the humans used to.
Avi, who speaks next?
I think. So the hamster in my brain is running back and forth between 2 decisions. I think, surprisingly, the vultures kind of like, they look around and they go like, Lloyd, give it a break. We all know about the voice. It's a good voice, but no need to get this started. We're all just trying to live here and listen to different voices. geez Louise. And then they just sort of like flap around nervously. So while they're not happy about it, I think they are showing support for the sisters ultimately.
Oh.
So I'm actually going to then remove one contempt token from the sisters. Is that acceptable, do we think?
Ooh.
Yeah, you don't have to you don't have to even ask our permission. You can just do it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. So I just heard my therapist's voice through your mouth, and I'm like, oh, rad. You don't need to ask for permission. Okay, got it. Sweet. Great to see you, Ruby.
The two whispering children step onto Lloyd's platform, and they speak to each other in front of whatever this amplification device is. And as usual, it cannot be parsed or understood.
Sweet Marigold also remains silent, but in kind of a concerning way, where it's just kind of like, what's Sweet Marigold thinking right now? Is this mix of grief and joy? How's that gonna pop off? So Sweet Marigold is pretty unconcerned with the drama that is unfolding.
Noted centrist, Sweet Marigold.
I mean, that's you then.
All right. Even I was a centrist. I was like, now? I'm like, oh, now I'm rolling. All right. We've got a 4 in here. A young monster lashes out at the community. Who is it? Who does the community blame for their anger? Or a monster who lived before the occupation claims that the new community is immoral. Start a project that reflects their fundamentalist call. Holy shit. I honestly, given the heat going on right now, I think the sisters sort of denounce what's going on here with the pit further. And rather than saying, you know, rather than just kind of focusing on like, I don't know about this voice, they're instead turning to, you know, the children and Lloyd and everyone and the morning who are sort of showing the support. And it becomes, you know, this very aggressive kind of silence and frustration that seems to imply like in the most against schoolyard cafeteria terms, like, oh, you think I'm a human? You're the human now. Like there's just like, you're the one rustling this up. You're the one starting problems. You're the one inciting. And I think their project to demonstrate the ways in which they are not like humans is to basically try to tear down the statue and wipe away the image of the humans. And I think it's a pretty big statue, but they are very angry. So I'm going to give it 5 weeks instead of 6.
That sounds good.
And then for my action, I'm going to start another project where I think, you know, sort of tensions are rising. There are some divisions, and the morning has decided it, you know, has had enough of being, they've had enough of being sort of looked at poorly, and they decide they're going to help with the triangle and begin a project where they sort of slurp up a bunch of that pus from the eyes and go over and try to spit it out onto the fire to see if pus is stronger than, you know, pus is thicker than water, as the saying goes. So they want to determine if pus is thicker than water.
I know this is my fault, but I still hate it.
Listen. And I think, you know, there's a lot of pus. I think it's only going to take 2 weeks to find out if pus is thicker than water.
2 weeks.
Two, it's like
Not like 1 hour.
no, they're gonna keep trying. Sometimes you need a lot of fun.
Maybe the morning are not large.
Like the morning might be little. Imagine one little stingray spitting a mouthful of pus onto 3 open flames.
I think it's like,
This is a mess. Avi, you've got these 2 projects now. I moved the dice on there for you, but can you put like a little note attached to them just so we don't?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Summer. Rolled a 2. A wave of paranoia sweeps through the community. Agree on something about the severity and necessity of a taboo. Or someone takes their fascination with a taboo too far. Who is it? How does the community react? Oh gosh, it's got to be the second one. All right, I think. Okay, so the reason this is taking 2 weeks and not 2 hours with the pus situation, in addition to the amount of pus that the morning can anyway, the morning has been seeing in the background the wind chimes on their fence and is constantly being distracted and wandering off and sort of like tending to the wind chimes the way that they would the eye stalks that are part of them. But because they don't like have a secreted substance, instead they're like using some of their pus and they're like coating the wind chimes with their little flavor of nasty. And it's kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like a light hypnotism thing that's happening. Like they're like getting spaced out, like seeing the chimes and whatever, and then like they keep going to tend to them when they should be tending to their project. And so they're kind of like chime drugs. That's essentially what's going on here. Chime drugs. Okay, so that's that part of the move. We do still drop this down 1, and this goes to 4. And I haven't started a new project, and I'm jealous of projects, so I'm going to start a project, which is did someone just make some chime drugs for us? That's what I'm assuming that sound was. So I think that Sweet Marigold has begun.
Is that Pus Cat?
No! It's Sparkles.
Sweet Marigold has begun tunneling through the hive wall at the back of the sauna. And they're curious what they're going to find there. I don't know how long it's going to take. What number do y'all think?
4's good.
4. Yeah.
4? Okay.
Yeah, 4's good.
Cool. That's my project. I'm going to make a little note about it.
Only twice as much time as it takes to spit pus onto fire.
Alrighty, let me roll my d12. All right, so I rolled 10. Boop. Conflict flares up among community members, and as a result, a project fails. Or introduce a dark mystery among the members of the community. Who discovers it? Oh, these are both so good. So I think the dark mystery is that Sweet Marigold, while investigating the sudden hive also starts hearing that voice, that human voice, that suspiciously human voice. And so as the action for agree on, I'm going to do agree on something. So I think the vultures are going to state their opinion that the morning should be kept away from the sparkly chimes. They are getting distracted and they are coming into our territory, and they are putting disgusting things on these wind chimes. They're getting close to this taboo. We don't touch the wind chimes. Don't touch the wind chimes. They are beautiful and dangerous and forbidden.
I think Lloyd, upon hearing this, kind of leaves his podium and is like scuttling on his little feet over to look up at this conversation that's happening. And he starts kind of like a part of his like left shoulder, it cracks off and falls on the ground in agitation. And he goes like, that's just like your opinion, man. Like if that's what the morning wants to do, man, like, why are you trying to harsh the morning? Look how little he is. He's been spitting pus over there for like a whole week almost now. And like, if he wants to look, are you saying you own property now? Are you saying that you own the wind chimes and that you're marking territory like the humans used to? Hey, morning. Knock yourself out, buddy. And then he like scuttles back to his pulpit. The voice would never stop you.
The morning itself sort of looks at the vultures with like, and does not say a word. Just kind of looks them up and down with like, oh, okay. And kind of like does a little like at Lloyd, like, yeah, buddy. And continues what it's doing.
And the voice says, what does it look like? And that's it. Because they're in a hall. Yeah, that was you, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah, Jordan, you go.
All right. Let me roll. I rolled a 3. Zoom in and delete the 3. Someone begins to address an urgent need, no matter the cost. Start a project that will alienate some monsters in the community. Or someone demands that a constitution be written. What rules do they propose that anger the community? So I'm going to do number 2. And I think one day everyone just sees Lloyd up inside of the welcome. And he's like kind of like swimming in circles, getting pus all over everything. And when he sees everyone's noticed him, he's like, I think we need to have some type of rules because some people, and he looks over at the vultures, are trying to enforce their rules upon us. And he looks over at Three Sisters. And I think we just need to be safe to be able to follow our blisses. So I think we have a constitution, and number 1, you can lick anything you want. Like anything, like if you're not infringing upon another monster's space, like their physical space, mind your business. Let me lick it. I want to lick it. I'm going to lick it. And that's his number 1. Each of you should probably have one of these too. So like, I want to hear what other rules you guys want, but The number one tenet the society's found apart is freedom of licking.
I support you using that voice more.
He's just a little guy. a little lad.
He's a little guy, and it's my birthday.
Just a little lad.
So that's
Uh-huh.
that's your go, and then all the projects move forward one. So
But then I have to
Oh.
do the action, though, right?
no, this happens right before the action.
Okay, yeah.
I
I feel like Lloyd is totally the energy of like doing chime drums. No, Papa.
Open your mouth.
So Avi, this project is you initiated it. So
Yes.
is pus thicker than water?
So the morning does discover that pus is thicker than water, but to its horror, only remembers as the last bit falls and puts out one of the fires that one was supposed to remain lit. So it worked, but all of the fire is out from its enthusiasm. So good news, yeah. Bad news, huge fucking bummer. Like that's
Yeah. Way to go, the morning. Okay, and now Jordan, what's the
action.
rest of your turn? Yeah.
So I think I definitely am going to introduce or draw something from amidst the occupation. Well, actually, no. We've been playing kind of fast and loose with the uncover something old, just kind of like adding new things though, right? Like a new
Yeah.
event that happened or something.
I think
I feel like none of us really read that it has to be from amidst the occupation.
no, I feel like they've all been old things. No?
We have.
Mm.
We don't know what happened during the occupation.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I think we've been good. We've been good.
so I can't just do like a normal thing that's found, like a thing that's happened during our timeline. It has to be old.
I think you can just like tie it to an old thing.
Okay. So one day when Marigold is going back to work on their investigation, they walk into they have their little like a little light next to them and like a little backpack, and they're going in to the hive minds. But as they go in, on the floor in front of the wall of hive things are the two children laying there. And they look weird at first, but that's because they're like flat. And as Marigold looks closer, it's like their skins are empty, like someone has like unzipped them and there's empty husks now. And there is a bit of a dark, almost like treacly substance going back into the hives. So this is a new thing that has happened with the old hives.
Oh.
Are they
a new twist to her investigation.
are they alive for certain values of alive?
Well,
Or-
who knows what they're like, but there's right now there's just two empty papery husks of where the children were. But are the children's bodies, but is that a dead state for them? Who knows? Or did they leave their husk willingly, or were they unzipped by someone else? Who knows?
Unsettling. Thank you. Avi, what you
And
got?
I think Marigold, upon seeing this though, does kind of like try to like fold them up and put them nicely on a little shelf that's in the sauna, like that's for like towels. But she's like, I guess I'll leave these here, you know.
A little skin for a treat.
Yeah.
Thanks. I hate
Wouldn't
it.
want them to get soggy or anything.
Marigold is considerate.
We love marigolds. So I just got 6. I have either a project finishes early, say how it is resolved, who prove themselves most valuable in its completion, or a charismatic monster harnesses the excitement and goodwill of the community, start a new project. I am going to say that the sisters successfully tear down the statue. They peck and peck and peck at it night and day, like they tearing at it with their human teeth and their claws, and they are just shredding it until all it is this pile of rubble in the shape of what looks like one sort of tall and fucked up mountain. And then they sort of perch on it very proudly, saying nothing.
Damn. They did it.
They did it. They win.
I wonder what the spiders think of that.
What do the spiders think? The spiders just had a bad day.
They successfully harnessed girl power.
Girl power. Gatekeep, gaslight, girl boss. Yes, that's each of their names, actually. So,
Oh, the
so
secret
sorry.
names.
Secret names. I love them. So I think an opinion is voiced, and an opinion is voiced by the voice. And I think one day it's midday and it's sunny and it's warm and everything's somewhat bright. And from the depths, the voice says, I am beloved. I am feared. I am known and unknown. I am so lonely. I am so lonely. And that's all. Questions? Thoughts?
Break. Let's take a quick cry break.
I just thought I'd harsh the vibe. Everyone looked like we were having fun.
Dropping this project down to 2. Getting a tissue. Can I ask a dumb question? Was that you initiating the agree on something?
Yeah.
Gosh.
You broke
I
Dave.
feel it.
Abby.
So, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said you broke Dave.
You did. You blue screened me. I'm
I'm
so
just thinking about
sad.
the nature of this whole thing, and I'm like, everyone's so, I don't know. I'm a huge bummer. I don't know what to tell you.
No, I meant
No, I
to.
love it.
I was saying to someone that so many of the games we play are like being sad for fun.
Mhm.
And that's real. So I think the vultures are like circling, like when like birds circle on an updraft.
Mhm.
And so they're like being part of the exhalations from the pit. And they're like, I don't know, I feel like they like want to like offer up like, how could we make you part of us? But it's a little bit confusing, and like it doesn't necessarily seem like it would work with their physiognomy, but like, does anyone say that word? But
Physiognomy.
thank you. But they are like really like feeling the emotions of that statement.
So the morning is also really feeling the emotions of that statement, but they are also silent, but like in an agreement, in a strange agreement with the vultures way. They're just so struck by what the voice said that they have overcome whatever beef they had with the vultures.
So Lloyd, from his perch right next to the hole on his pulpit, heard this really loudly, and kind of like nods, looks at everything, like looks back at the hole. He's like, I hear you, buddy. I'm telling everybody about you. You won't be alone forever. I'm totally not getting them to jump in though. That would be weird. We're just totally having a normal church services, not at all going to get everybody ready to walk in to you. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's our segue to our new chart. Yep. Sorry, you blue screened me earlier. Took me a second. That was good. Okay, summer. We didn't do the king last time, and a D12 doesn't go up to 13, so I'm just gonna do the king.
Hit that king.
I'm doing it.
It's your right. You're the DM.
Oh wow. Hot summer
boy.
days lead to anger and paranoia among the monsters. Choose one. So many of these ones are like do the right thing. Okay, choose one. Community leaders spend the week silencing dissent. This week ends immediately. Oh.
No.
Or the community leaps into frenzied action. I prefer frenzied action, I think. What's a dangerous project? So hot summer days lead to anger and paranoia among the monsters. Start a dangerous project. I feel like it's a project of connection, and it involves the voice. And okay, so the vultures are altering. They're like doing like some like wild like surgery thing to they want to like connect their nerve endings to the voice somehow. It's some like wild nerve telephone, like cans with a string between it thing. It involves the wind chimes and also some gnarly stuff. And it doesn't totally make any sense, but it's super dangerous. And if it goes poorly, it might change their nature forever.
Ooh, I love it.
Are they trying to
Oh,
like
that's
run
fun.
nerve cables down the hole like an underwater, like the way they have like those lines under the ocean, but they're trying to run like their nerves down into the hole, or
Yes, exactly that.
like but like
Yeah,
using the
maybe
wind
they're
chimes
using
as
some
like
stuff
as a
some
power
stuff from that
system?
net too. Like maybe
Yeah.
they find out the net is like kind of a psychic.
Oh, you know what? Let's say it's the net instead of the wind chimes. I feel like that is like slightly
Like
more.
the web.
Yeah,
I'm
that
sure
makes
nothing
more
bad will
sense.
happen if they weave that into their nerves that they apply to their
No,
bodies.
no,
Yeah.
nothing bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they're repurposing the Gosper net in order to make a psychic nerve-ending game of telephone between them and the voice. Yeah, it's gonna go fine. So okay, I was just gonna go with the 6 because it sounds gnarly. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
For you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then for the other part of the turn, uncover something old, agree on something. Okay, uncover something old. Oh, I'm just gonna say that there is smoke coming from something in the mountains.
Oh boy.
Is there a nice smoke? No, but I think I can draw smoke. That's like within my skill set.
Okay, while you're drawing smoke, I rolled a 2 for autumn. Is that correct? Is that where we're at?
Hold on, are we? How many are left? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, we have one more summer.
Okay. Well, okay. So that was 2. Oh, I may have to roll like a bunch of times.
You also can just pick one.
I may just have to pick one.
Like it.
So we'll pick the Jack. Someone sabotages a project and the project fails as a result. Who did this? Are they caught? Or someone is caught trying to sabotage the efforts of the community. How does the community respond? Ooh, I think someone is caught trying to sabotage the vulture's efforts. to reach the voice.
That sounds about right.
I think these sisters are caught trying to sabotage the vultures.
Gatekeep.
I think that is absolutely what happens, and I think the community is just not having this. I don't want to narrate everything from everybody, but I think everybody's pretty much just kind of like, no, we want to see what happens. This is a big dangerous thing. Like this could be a connection to like why we exist, why we're still here. It's not human, but it talks with a human voice. It could have answers for us. And also, I don't know, the vultures are, the vultures, let them do their thing. Lloyd got to do his thing. Let the vultures do their thing. They are upholding the lick what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Prime rule.
Lick and let lick.
I mean, I was expecting that to be opposed, but it just went through.
I don't know if anyone else has signed the Constitution, but that is all it says.
But they didn't oppose it. I mean, there was like 3 turns to oppose. That document's just nailed up there. It's like on the
Sopping wet.
on the welcome. Yeah. Like you would think it was wheat pasted, but it's like pus pasted onto the wall.
Oh, nasty. Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're gonna do the agree on something action as a part of this, and I think Lloyd is probably leading the charge here on the I don't think we want to exile the 3 sisters from the community, but I think there's a like the motion is the 3 sisters need to chill and they need to lick something.
Yes.
Wow.
Get licked.
The 3 sisters, they need to lick something. Yeah.
I think the morning is swimming around. He's like, I knew this day would come. Yeah, you're gonna lick something? I bet you're gonna lick something.
I think Sweet Marigold. It's like, I think it would feel better if you just licked something. It can be
And the 3 sisters just respond with like the clattering of the dry bone within their throat, registering their displeasure.
That doesn't count. All right, that means it's my turn now. And we're switched over to Autumn.
That's right.
Yeah, you're the first one in Autumn. Yeah.
I'm just gonna blindly click and delete. Okay. Let's see what I click. The strongest amongst you dies. What caused the death?
Whoa.
The weakest among you dies. Who's to blame for their death? Oh, fuck.
Autumn. What a bummer.
The strongest among you dies. What caused the death?
Damn.
Well, that's one way to get rid of the 3 sisters.
It does flow right there. Yeah.
But is that too easy? Is that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too easy.
Are they the strongest or the oldest?
Yeah. I think Lloyd dies.
No! Oh boy!
I think Lloyd has secretly been the strongest all this time. He's ancient, made of bone. He went down the pit, met the voice, came back. And I think one morning when the people who have started enjoying his sermons, even if they don't totally agree, they're like, there's something about the way Lloyd tells us stuff. Like, it just makes me feel good about my day. And even if I mean, I'm a little worried about this voice because Lloyd sure does like to say that it doesn't want my teeth, but I mean, why would he even bring it up? And then, but one day they go out there and Lloyd is just sitting there calcified, kind of like more than he normally is because he is bone. So this is even more. It's more like it's starting. Looks brittle and almost translucent, and all around him are just like banks of like bone dust, just kind of like as if it had just come out of him, and now he is this almost like crystalline structure that was Lloyd, but he's not talking and he's not hissing or throwing pebbles anymore. Lloyd is just empty.
Mm.
And as far as what caused it, there was a couple like harpy feathers around the situation. I mean, no one really has proof, but there are some feathers there.
Hmm.
All right. That is what happens there. Lloyd. My good boy, my son.
I'm
So
like so sad.
I think we're gonna start a project. And the project is going to be can I start a project and then have someone else say what it is when it finishes? Like pass it off or no?
Technically, no, but I mean, if you want to if you want to give decision making to someone else, then sure.
I want to start a project where I think the Morning and Marigold are like, hey, like Marigold's like, I don't think that Lloyd would do anything weird. Why did he die? And the Morning's like, something weird happened. We should get together and we should find out what happened to Lloyd. Like, we should get to the bottom of this, the two of us together. So it's starting as an investigation into the death of Lloyd, carried out by the Morning and Marigold. And at the end, the people who made those characters up have to say what the culmination is.
It's good.
I got rules.
But it's like a buddy cop movie starting between these
Oh
two.
no, absolutely.
Did this start after the tunneling is complete, or is the tunneling on pause?
The
The tunneling is still going, I think, but also isn't it in this turn?
No, I just reduced it already.
All right, I think this happens during like in your downtime, you know.
Cool. Cool.
What number do we want to put in that project?
I would say that's a 5.
Okay.
That could easily be done by the time we finish the game, I think, right?
Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we have 8 to somewhere between 8 and 16 turns left.
Oh.
One of my favorite parts with this game is how much it thwarts you from trying to pre-plan. Because I have several things I've been trying to make happen since the very beginning, and I've set them up and it just keeps going away. I know, that's what's fun about it, is it makes you you have to adjust.
And actually, so we're coming up on 10, right? So if I think saying 8 to 16 out loud made me think that's too many. So let's have maybe have autumn be short, and then that will so winter will show up unexpectedly, and then that will just drop it more from like I guess it'll end up being more like 4 to 12 turns. So we'll each of us just do one turn in autumn, and then we'll go to winter. Okay.
Gorgeous.
All right. So I need Jordan. I need you to put. You said 5. So the buddy cop. Just put a little text over near this 5 so that we know what that represents. And Avi, it's your go.
Hell yeah. So we got a 9. A clutch of tiny monsters is discovered near the community, always here but overlooked. Agree on something about them. or someone digs and discovers a very peculiar skeleton. What sort of creature might this have been? Are there others like it?
Those are both fun.
I think I want babies. I love babies. So I think where do I want to put the babies? I think that a small school of fish with human faces
Oh,
are found inside of the waterfall. Just gonna pop those little fish in real quick. They're found inside the waterfall, and they speak in very soft voices, and stay huddled very close as a school. And they seem very, very, yeah, they're very young. They're new fish in this school that's been around for a long time. And I think the thing that's agreed on about them is that they don't know the humans are gone.
Mhm. Oh no, I think we literally do that.
Yep. Yeah.
No,
It's just,
no, like the agree on something means like,
oh, we do that? Okay.
yeah.
okay.
So who would I have doing the so would I have someone else say the agree on?
No, so you're starting it. So you pick someone to say the first thing about the little fish people.
Yeah. So I think the morning sort of sweeps over with its pretty little, like delicate flutters. And I think suggests I'm gonna stick by this one of they don't seem aware that the humans are gone. Because they can't quite hear the little voices, but they know they're speaking. So I think there's an argument that they are held in time. Is this working?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, who was that?
This was the morning who sort of came over.
Cool. So the three sisters show up, and it seems like, but they're not actually showing up on purpose to this discussion. They just like are doing like a plummet into the river, and at the last minute they stop, and you suspect that they may have been eating the fish all along. But thus caught, they fly away.
Sweet Marigold says, should we tell the little fish that the humans are gone? And
And then
that's a bit.
the vultures, they were flying around, just kind of they felt like they wanted to hang out with Sweet Marigold, but they were just like trying to like come up with a reason why they should hang out with her. But then they saw the conversation starting, and they're like, "This is perfect. Now we get the chance to hang out with Marigold." And so they come in, they're like kind of like all flying around above, and they hear her and they're like, "Hey, do you know about the humans? Do you know about the humans? Do you know they're gone? Hey, fish, fish, fish."
Well,
Yep, that happened. So everyone will drop all the projects, the fives become fours, and then the tunneling into the hive is complete.
Do I do a bonus action, or is the action
That happens
after?
right after, yeah, for these clocks, they change in the middle of your turn.
In the middle? Great, perfect.
Yeah. So I started this tunneling into the hive. So I think that okay. The thing that they just that Marigold discovers behind the hive walls is a human laboratory that was sorry, we're not really like laboratory, are we? I guess it's more like maybe it's like a magical sanctum, right? Where we can see the place that they were creating these the fish babies. Like, and it's also, there's also like the failed preserved, like in jars kind of thing, like creatures of other various amalgamated shapes, including not least the humans with fish faces, the reverso fish babies, which didn't do as well. Yeah. So that's what was discovered in there. So I'll draw like a weird little upsetting thing. Yeah. Avi, what's the second half of your move?
I think that I'm going to uncover something old. And I think this is uncovered allegedly by the voice that sort of booms out, "Farewell, farewell, thank you for coming. What does this mean?" It has found another one of the gondolas down at the bottom of the hole and is announcing its presence.
Ooh.
So I guess I'm going to put the bye-bye gondola.
Like a jar. Super normal map.
Normal map for normal folks having a normal time.
Kind of want to save this and frame it.
I played this at a convention one time, and the guy did give away, like, he had been drawing it in ink and then gave it away as a poster.
Oh, I love that.
That's pretty cool.
So that goes back around to Dave then.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of making a...
You're making horrible things.
I love them. Never mind, you're making art. Take all the time.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh, that's some clip art right there.
Oh.
Let's zoom in on this.
I love him.
Look at what?
Ops channel, can you zoom in and show the chat this amazing fish head man, please?
Fish
Because
baby.
that is,
Fish, fish
yes.
baby. Baby's in the jar. It's a little fish baby.
Where's their lungs? Who knows?
Freeze
Freeze frames.
Okay. All right. So I have to take a turn in autumn. That's what you're telling me. 12. That's a queen. A group of humans arrive, wounded and scared. They seek shelter and belonging. How are they greeted? Or a single human arrives looking to reclaim something lost during the occupation. How are they greeted? Okay, it's definitely the second one, and it is a one of the scholars of the 7 transformations, and they are looking for you know what? They have to be looking for Lloyd. So they were looking to come back so that they could transcend Lloyd to the next form. And while they were like, I don't know, I feel like their devastation over their lack of being able to complete their science projects, like maybe initially looked like grief to us. And so for a second, we were unsure of what to do. And then when it became clear that it was for some self-serving purposes, we gave them unto the morning to keep them confined in the tentacle eye garden.
mash them upon the altar of Lloyd.
Yeah, so that's weird. Okay, everyone needs to do
So there's now how many humans like just in this puddle of pus in the middle?
well,
Do
a
you
single.
think Lloyd, or pardon me, do you think the morning like regurgitates something maybe to keep the human fed?
Yeah, I think Lloyd's. Sorry, I think the morning is feeding the human pus to live. It's nasty.
Yeah, but also they're like stuck inside of the half calcified pus that he's put around them.
Yeah. Okay. I keep saying pus, but every time I do, I want to say it less. So I'm just gonna. We all know what's
I actually
happening.
hate the word pus, but now you started it, so I'm just leaning into it.
I have regrets.
But
But
knowing the three of you.
sorry, you know what I forgot? Hey, what's the name of the little fish babies?
I don't think I gave them a name. I think they have gone unknown and they are simply fish babies.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So fish babies, I put them on
Yes, one word.
Index card. Okay. And so I'm gonna draw that thing. That was that, and then I have to do an action. Oh, okay. So the action is Sweet Marigolds calls everyone to the waterfall and says, we have to name our sweet fish babies.
Okay. I think it is my turn, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, so then I think the morning in its little voice whispers, let's name them, each with a different name.
That's funny.
So then I guess if they're not going to name one, then the I think Marigold is then like that one right there. Look out! It's like just away from the others, and he's just kind of swimming in the side against that rock. I think he doesn't know that the rock won't move. He looks really nice. I'm gonna name him Lloyd.
Lloyd Jr. Or pardon me, Lloyd Jr.
That one's Lloyd. Lloyd.
Oh,
You can name one Lloyd too if you want. There could be more than one Lloyd.
Lloyd the third.
I think
Lloyd 4, Lloyd 5, Lloyd 6.
the vultures are like, I think they're skeptical of the idea of giving them individual names. So they just look and go, Lloyd, 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 Lloyd.
The Lloyds.
Well,
What if we put them inside of Lloyd? He's hollow, right?
Lloyd, 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 Lloyd. Oh.
Brandon, I know there's a man in a cage there. I put him there. That's beautiful. Kat, it's your go.
Okay, let's see if I can stop laughing long enough to read 7. Humans arrive and destroy something that was adopted after the occupation. What is it? Does the community retaliate? Or alarming weather patterns destroy something that was adopted after the occupation. What is it? How does the community interpret the loss? Well, I think an alarming weather pattern destroys welcome, welcome. Not welcome, welcome. I think just a great, okay. So you know what inland hurricanes are called. I have heard them called several things in various Midwest accents. Things like I've heard derecho, derecho. It's D-E-R-C-H. Derecho. So
Okay.
one of those, and it just like whooshes in and then destroys welcome, welcome,
Shit.
and it's gone.
And in the background, you hear Lloyd go, "Not my Monstitution."
The spirit of Lloyd is within us all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say the morning. The morning's like, "Not my
Morning.
Monstitution," because that's where they had their constitution.
Not Lloyd's Constitution. There we go.
The bleed between these two is concerning, and I don't believe it's not supernatural. So,
And then as far as actions go, goodness, I don't know. Let's see. I think, I'm gonna do an agree on something. And I think that the morning wishes to hold a human funeral for the welcome, welcome. It seems only fair, as humans built the welcome, welcome, that we should give it a human farewell.
Is that a statement or is that a project?
That's an agree on something.
An agree on something. So
Mhm.
then I would be next. I think Marigold is like, "That's a great idea that I think we should do. I hear that they used to eat their dead. So we start eating the welcome, welcome. Is that what we do?"
Sorry, I'm so delighted. I'm briefly overcome. Um, from below, the voice says, "I am very hungry."
Ooh.
Which is agreement, I guess.
hold on. That was the voice. That was the morning.
Mhm.
And who was the second one?
It was
Marigold.
Marigold.
Thank you. I think the vultures drag the cage over for show and tell from where the morning has been, whatever, and is like, ask the human how to do it.
Happy winter.
I like the idea of the monster shaking the cage of the human like it's a 8-ball to answer questions.
Yeah, I don't even know how they would plan on that happening, but yeah. Okay, whose turn was that?
That was
mine.
Yeah.
Cool. So Jordan, you get the first turn of winter. And now every turn in winter, we roll 1d12. And if the 12 comes up, we do the
ending.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go back to rolling for my thing too. So I'll need to roll twice, right?
Yeah, this is a little the details of this don't totally make sense.
I did not roll a 12, and my first roll was a 6, so I will be deleting the 6.
And I think because we're kind of running a little bit on borrowed time, so maybe we keep these turns snappy.
Okay. What is winter like in this area? What is the most common reaction to this weather? Or one of the monsters enters hibernation or metamorphosis. How must the community scramble to make up for their absence? I'm gonna do the second one, and this concerns two things on the map, because one morning, all of the organs from around the organ omen are gone, and also when Marigold they're finished exploring, but they still go to the sauna every day because they love it. They noticed that the 2 children's folded husks are gone. and then over by the statue of, well, the statue or the dead body of Lloyd, they see that the skins of the children are there, but they're filled and bulging out of like this purplish organs, and it's like coming out of their mouth and out of their eye sockets, and it's just like they're kind of like just like almost like rolling, walking and stuff, and there's like a squelching noise as if they're filled with those organs for some reason, and whether they did it to themselves or someone else did it, they don't know. But now they're just in front of Lloyd, like kind of just quivering, filled with the organs. And is that how they hibernate? Maybe. And then, so that was that. And then my action, I would like to state an opinion. And I think the morning has been spending a lot of time around the statue, the body of Lloyd. And one day, the same day that the kids show up full of organs, he looks around and he goes, I think we should send the human down to the voice. I mean, he's a human voice. They're a human. It's what they called math, I think. All right, then next person. That's like a statement.
That's yep. Mm-hmm. The vultures agree wholeheartedly. They like a lot of like like they're just very into the idea.
The Lloyds say, take us, take us, take us, take us.
Okay. I think the three sisters scoop up a couple of the Lloyds.
Or to like.
No, two. Yeah, do it.
Okay. I was a little like, because their track record with the Lloyds doesn't feel good to me, so I'm just a little nervous about the Lloyds.
Oh well, we can all be nervous about the Lloyds.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do they all make it? Or do they keep one as a snack?
Oh, they keep one.
Oh,
Did we
maybe
turn the
like as a
clocks down?
friend.
They keep Lloyd 4.
I dropped those down.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the end of my turn.
All right. I am rolling. That would be a 4. All the animals and the most attuned monsters are crying and won't stop. Agree on something about either the cause or cure for this situation. Or a great atrocity is revealed from the time of occupation. What is it? Who uncovers it? I think a great atrocity is revealed. I think the harpies, one day, I think Gaslight is flying around the statue one day and just sort of pecking. Well, I always forget, it's a human face, so gnawing. I love a good gnaw. Is gnawing and feeling a little vindicated. And then she tastes something familiar and she doesn't quite know why it's familiar, because it's something she's never tasted before, but something she knows intimately. And then she realizes the statue has been made of all of her other sisters, which she has forgotten from so long ago.
Oh, damn.
Oh dear.
So I think that happens.
It does happen. So then our 2 projects kick down to 0.
All right.
So I'll just do, it's weird that this is the more easy one, but so the vultures and their nerve connections to the becomes successful. And so it's like this electric connection between them, and it is not entirely perfect, but the voice I think is probably like a quite powerful personality, and the voice basically like takes over the vultures. And the voice is sad about it. Like they were so excited to like be part and like meet these new friends and have communication and whatever else. And then they like accidentally like consume and override, and they're like for forever they're like flying around and like talking to themselves and saying, "Are you there? Are you there?" But they're gone. And it's just the voice now. Sorry, I didn't know it was gonna be horrific until I literally said it.
That's the best kind.
I'm feeling everything a human body can feel. It's fantastic.
Oh, well, I mean, they are a hive mind. It like
hive
it tracks, you know.
Yep.
Strongest one down. R.I.P.
All
And now the
right.
conclusion of the crime-solving duo.
So
yeah.
I've got Marigold. Dave, did you have morning? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. So what was, maybe Marigold will take the lead on this one.
Glad to. I think the answer is very clear to Marigold that of course the sisters killed Lloyd. Everything points to that, but I think what's more interesting to Marigold that it's discovering this by sort of investigating and kind of picking up the little teeth that are littered around Lloyd and kind of scratching at Lloyd's, like, sort of that interesting sort of like sheer body that it's got. And as it does this, some of the static around it disappears and it looks more and more and more like a regular mouse. And it's finally sort of calm and it goes, "I think I feel better now." And Lloyd sort of tremors and begins to suggest that something could be going on. Yeah, the harpies fucking did it though. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I just did a terrible arrow that I regret. Okay, I can get rid of it. And
I still have a bonus action.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I think Marigold, oh sweet Marigold, feeling clear and calm for the first time, and it does not know how long, looks around at all of its friends and goes, "We should jump into the pit. It would be nice, I think, for the voice to have more company."
I think the human trapped in the cage is like, "What is going on? Don't come in there. Like, let me out. None of this. Why won't you let me out?"
The morning says, "Silence, human. We'll jump into the pit."
Who is left that I can actually use to talk?
God.
I think the two children full of organs. At first they start to kind of like talking, and finally like their mouths open up and stretch, and you see inside just like almost like when someone's cut and like something's billowing out from inside, but out of their mouth it's like pulsating, and you can finally understand what they're saying through this. Like it's almost like their voices had to echo through this meat and gelatin to get it to a sound that you can know. And they go, "Yes, finally," and they run and jump off the edge of the pit.
There they go. Okay.
Well, shit. Okay. I rolled a 1. It's 10:24. A human emissary arrives at the settlement proposing trade. How does the community react? Agree on something about this person? Or
Community, we all jumped in the pit.
Marigold hasn't jumped, just suggested we should. Marigold's still kind of like,
maybe a human soldier is captured nearby the project with maps and other tools of reconnaissance. Start a project based on the community's reaction. All right, so you're saying, okay, so human emissary arrives, the community reacts. Yeah, so the voice in the form of the vultures descends on the emissary and says that we will discuss terms in the pit.
Pit, pit,
That's
pit,
right.
pit, 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 pit,
Pit.
Is everyone saying pit?
It's the shit.
All right, I feel like everyone used their turn to say pit. Got it.
It's just the pit, man. It's like it's just down there. It's like oh, so cool.
All right, and there's no projects, y'all. So I feel like the last
Sorry, Dave.
my action uncovers something old. This smoking mountain over here. Opens up and it becomes another pit.
Pit.
Double pit moon.
oh,
It's hogged.
hello.
And that's my turn. And Kat, what
All
happened
right.
with your turn?
Yeah, so I did roll a d12. So I will remove this thing on the king if Miro will let me. Oh, okay. Could somebody help? Help.
You just made a new
Why
one. Here we go.
The heroes arrive just as a new pit opens. Well,
I
damn.
like to think that they arrive at just as they see all these monsters just
Jumping
flinging
in.
themselves into a pit.
Yep.
And they're like, what the fuck?
It was cool. I don't think we even. It's funny. It just gave itself this nice little like narrative bow for us.
Mhm.
I think it's very exciting too to think about the idea of, like these humans coming in feeling real smug about like their new occupation. Like I'm like, so set up another welcome, like go ahead. Like you actually don't know what's in this pit. Like you have no idea, but like maybe they're down there doing quite well for themselves.
Yeah.
That delights me.
Maybe the
I don't
voice
think this
was
is
ready to
fun.
catch them. Who knows?
Yeah. I think the voice is a friend.
Someone in the chat, I'm gonna go back up and find it. They had a very important note about what the voice might be. So Arundel X4 said, plot twist, the voice is a tiny snail at the bottom of a deep echoing pit. So it sounds so loud because you hear it in your mind.
It's giving those psychic snails from Elden Ring when they say that.
I mean, I think it's a big weird piece of meat down there, but
no
a
one's
small
surprised.
snail
There's
is
a
cute.
little snail on the meat.
Yeah.
Aren't we all but a piece of meat in the body of a snail?
Or the little snail is like the anglerfish tongue of the big piece of meat.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, yes. Very good.
Jordan. Yes. I love this.
Oh, it makes me want to play this game underwater now.
Like with you underwater,
Like
like the game
actually
takes
underwater?
place underwater.
Yeah, we're all.
Sorry.
Like
Yeah,
we're
just-
all in
Maybe
separate
you
like those
were
isolation
underwater
tanks
levels.
and we're playing it with underwater computers or
Yeah, I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon, let's summon you from the depths of your There you are.
I exist. No one else can see me. But you folks can see me, but they can hear me, hopefully.
So you're like the voice in the pit, is what you're saying.
I am the voice in the pit. It was me the whole time.
Wow. Are you feeling less lonely? Are you good?
It's a little dark down here. It's surprisingly damp.
all for you.
That sounds like something a human would say.
I didn't think the pit would be Canadian.
Oh no.
It's a different tone.
The pit's just like, sorry.
This is what happens when a Canadian says something mean. This is what happens. We end up in a pit.
Oh no!
You have to go down into a pit
Yeah.
for the rest.
Oh, villain origin story. Oh.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're all done. I think you want to tell us what to say at the end, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. I take over at the end. Thanks for doing this, folks. That was an absolute delight to watch. To the folks at home, I hope you had a blast watching this as well. Before I do the little closing wrap up, I want our lovely players to say where you at home can find their cool stuff. And I'm going to go just in order of how people are on my screen. So, Kat, you're first.
Hello. So, once again, name is Kat Weaver. You can find me on Twitter occasionally at a note in pink, where I post mostly photos of birds and dresses. And you can also find the novella I wrote with my wife, which is called Uncommon Charm, at neonhemlock.com or your local independent bookstore. Shout out to Next Chapter booksellers, particularly, which is where Emily works. Those ones are signed.
Oh, very cool. I actually read Uncommon Charm very recently, and it is lovely. And it's a fabulous, fabulous story. I highly recommend it. Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave Ring. You can find my personal nonsense on Twitter at username is SlickHop. But then for all my Neon Hemlock associated nonsense, that's just at Neon Hemlock in all the places. And right now, if you're looking to give your dollars for some books from non-Big Five people, we're doing a Kickstarter crowdfund for the 2023 novella series, as well as a short story collection called Skin Thief by Susan Palumbo. So you can find us online, and we are available for you to give our dollars to.
Give so many dollars, please. Susan, also a friend of Bag of Giving, and a fellow Canadian. Go figure. Susan is also lovely. Avi.
Hi, I'm Avi. Thanks for watching. You can find me on Twitter at the Scream Bean, complaining about my reptiles doing hot boy shit and tiding you over until Plurality's pre-orders open up at a time. So come for the hot boy shit, stay to pre-order my book, and tell me how fucking hot I am. And you can learn more about the shared world that I run with my beautiful partner, Sienna and Tristan, at welcometoshail.com, where there's less hot boy shit, but fun queer YA books about giant lizards with 6 legs. That's what I got.
I love it.
Take it or leave it.
I cannot rave enough about Avi's books and Sienna's books at Welcome to Shale. They're on my. I'm looking to the left. Not that you can see that because they're on my shelf here in my office because they are amazing. Jordan.
I'm Jordan Shiveley. I write weird things on the internet, where you can find them sometimes in places like Neon Hemlock, Baffling Magazine, Nightmare magazines. I have a book that is up for pre-order called Hot Singles in Your Area. That is from Unbound. I have a Patreon where I send out weird physical things in the mail that sometimes might get your neighbors to report you to the government, but sometimes hopefully not. Yeah, that's about it for that. And I also have a clothing brand called Void Merch.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, as I continue to talk you people up. I think after I read Unfettered Hexes, I think I was mentioning to Dave that Jordan, your story, among other stories, your story in there was absolutely spectacular. Like the periodicals totally blew me away.
Oh yeah, my novel is going to have a bunch of that kind of visual elements in it.
Oh, that's going to be sweet. Okay, then I definitely got to pre-order that. So yeah, thanks again for joining us, folks. I'm your disembodied Canadian exiled voice from the pit. Brandon Crilly. I've got books and game stuff out there too. Go check it out. Our next game is going to be, if I remember correctly, on March 6th. We're going to do a little Mutants and Masterminds. My fellow Ottawa native Nathan Burgoyne is going to be running us through that. So it'll be superheroes blasting stuff. And we'll have a whole bunch more Canadians for that. Apparently Canadians is the theme I'm going with for the next 30 seconds. So that'll be on March 6th. And yeah, thank you for joining. Please go check out bagofgiving.com and go check out all of these people's amazing work. That is it for us. Have a good night, morning, wherever you are. Bye.